Okay then, just texted Roland, haven't heard back from him yet. But given that it's 6:07, let's get this show on the road. So I think most everyone on this board has been through something similar to this, but for new finance committee members, basically we're just gonna run through the budget and try and reconcile any potential differences that might be there. I don't believe there's terribly large ones, but I guess we'll see. So in light of that, shall we begin with
Sure. We are proposing one change. Kathy went back and looked at the fire department overtime and what she expects for next year. And she thinks it would be about 30,000 short. So we are suggesting that we increase the fire department overtime line by 30,000. And that we make up for that by reducing the money paid to TDI to 25,000 from 50. So that's what.
Where's the other 5,000 come from?
I didn't try to match it up that close.
You could say.
Kathy says it's the overlay, so
The overlay, it's exactly.
very good then. Any questions for Mark on that? So let's begin with
I have a question on that.
Okay.
I just have a question. How does that impact the money that the fire department is getting for overtime they did for the event in Lisbon?
the Lewiston.
Oh, Lisbon, yeah, I'm sorry.
That goes into the current year's budget and will get expended as overtime. which
Oh, okay.
Won't be an issue because right now we only have 3,800 left in this
Okay.
year's overtime budget.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
all right, just getting to the appropriate section here. So I guess we'll begin on page, I'm sure I'm not skipping anything here. We do not want to skip any department, but we'll start with administration, page 17. Have any concerns, qualms, objections, anger regarding this particular section?
No,
So you speak for the entire committee, Gail?
am I speaking for the entire committee saying administration is good, page 17, administration is good?
Yeah.
All those in favor of that, Richard? Hands up, okay?
All right, select board. You guys good? Any concerns? All right, we're not actually on video, I guess. All in favor of this section? All right, passes. Excellent, congratulations, administration.
Municipal office was on that board?
Your rate.
The municipal office was on the same board.
Yeah. All right, we also have on this page, as Gail just pointed out, municipal officers. Looks like there's a potential 1% increase here. Do anybody have any serious issues? Qualms? No. All right, Gail, why don't you go ahead?
Finance committee, all in favor of the municipal officers budget, raise your hand. Unanimous?
All right, select board, similar. Very good. All right, let's move on to tax collector, page 18. I love how this is in page order. The county budget is not in the draft budget at all. Let's see.
I know it's a long drive walk, it's such a short.
Exactly. All right, so this is finance and tax collector. Same question.
Any issues on this side? All those in favor of the tax collector and finance?
All right, same to the board. Very good. Moving on. Page 19, town clerk and elections. Any discussion and concerns?
No discussions, concerns? Everybody in favor of the town clerk? Raise your hand.
I enjoy having the town clerk as well. So. Everyone on the board is in favor. Raise your hand, please. Very good. All right, moving on. Yes. Yeah. General assistance. Let's see. Any questions, concerns, comments? Very good.
Finance Committee, everybody in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Don't. Unanimous?
All right, everyone on the board. And just gonna like come back.
No, I'm fine.
You want us to come sit by you?
I think I'm okay.
All right, page 20, assessing. Any questions, concerns, issues?
Big question, no. Just kidding.
Dang, Ruth, come on.
I just think he's great, so what can I say? I know. Okay, any questions, concerns from the Finance Committee? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, we're good, unanimous?
Same question to Ann and Ryan.
I have a question. Are we ever going to, just out of curiosity, now that this, break for seniors was given and taken away, are we ever gonna do anything in terms of assessments for people like over 80, or do you know if there's any kind of thoughts? Has anybody run that by you at all?
Be a question for the state legislature. as well.
Ah,
Taxation
state
of 5 hours
legislature,
of state.
okay. Thank you. All in favor? I'm
Good, all right. Moving on, page 21, economic development. Mark, you should be, no, never mind, all right. I can't read my sheet because, the name tags on it. Yeah. So Mark has already highlighted the changes here. Any questions, concerns, comments?
Clear the chamber. The chamber is, yes, we were not in favor of contributing to those chamber back from the top and whatever the point is. We were not in favor of that.
All right, and that was a $10,000 line.
Yes, right.
Right, yes.
Select board, thoughts?
Is this where went from 50 to 25 from
The TDI,
STDI?
that was the last line, that money's to go to help pay, reimburse the money for the water and sewer study. So I'm suggesting we drop that down to 25 to offset the overtime. The Chamber of Commerce money is 10 of that 11,000, that's 2 lines above.
I'm using that.
So we're keeping that in or taking that out?
We can either choose to keep it in as a select board, or we can take it out similar to what the, finance committee is doing.
And if we don't go with that 10,000, the general fee is 500,000, $500?
Which is enough in that 1,000 to cover.
What are your thoughts, Mark?
To be honest, I'm torn, because of the fact that we're not giving to other nonprofits. I can see the argument that we don't want to give
Finance committee folks?
to the nonprofit. On the other hand, we're not paying for an economic development director, and they can, absorb some of the coordination duties and stuff like that, so, I could go either way.
Ryan or Matt, any thoughts?
Simply put, I'm leaning more towards not in favor than I am in favor.
Okay,
I don't have an explicit reason for that, other than a lot of nonprofits we turn down, and to see a direct benefit to the taxpayers as a whole. I don't see it that way. I see it more towards businesses. And for basically those 2 reasons, I'm leaning more towards not.
okay. Matt, I'm a firm no.
Yeah,
So-
I'm gonna say the same thing as him.
Okay,
All right,
so,
so we shall remove $10,000 from line 11112.
No, recommended 503 or 4, 020.
020.
Sorry, object to, or object.
The first part of it is the 111.
Yeah.
50302.
So altogether, we're taking 35,000 out of it, essentially.
Yes. So do we have to approve a final amount?
I think
just to take.
we'll consider that you reduce that line to 1,000 and the other line to 25,000.
Yep,
Shall we raise our hands on it? Just to
for
make-
no.
Correct. All in favor of removing $10,000 from line 503020? Raise your hand. Very good. Excellent. Moving on, page 22, planning and code. Oh,
We
yeah.
didn't take a whole vote, did we, on the bottom line, did we?
Oh, we didn't have a bottom line, no.
Yeah, I think we should on the bottom line.
Yeah, what's up?
So we're at 27 at this point in time, right?
Which goes from a 90%
25, yeah.
increase to
Says
15% reduction that we have. Yeah, I think it's a negative 15%. 14%.
So what is the bottom? Now, bottom line now is 27,000, right?
Can we, before we finish this one, since we're taking that other money out, we just got our renewal for the liability insurance for TDI board, it's like 1,500. So can we take that 1,000 at 503.40 and bump it up to 1,500?
What are you looking at again?
Where it says professional services,
Okay,
1112, 503.040. We dropped it down to 1,000, thinking we'd have enough money left over from dues if the insurance went over. But we just got the quote for this year's, and it's 1,500 now. So we'd like to have that be 1,500, so it's not to pay the insurance.
so that's gonna make it 27,500 then.
Yep, yes.
So why don't you put in your group?
I propose we allow an adjustment, $500.
That's so. Says all those in favor of the 27,500?
Very good. And Ryan,
Mm-hmm.
you guys in favor of adding $500 and approving a $27,500 bottom line?
Approved.
All right, very good. Moving on. Planning and code enforcement. Questions, concerns, comments? Seeing none, Gail, what do you think?
No, everybody in favor of the planning code enforcement budget? Say.
Select board,
Approved.
all in favor? All right, we are cruising, excellent. All right, next is facilities maintenance. Questions, concerns, comments? All right, here we go.
The finance board, all of those in favor of the facilities maintenance budget as stated? Thanks. Okay, yes.
Jury rules.
Okay.
All right, select board. All in favor? Very good. Okay, moving on to insurance. Oh, I gotta hate insurance. Okay. Questions, concerns, qualms? Yes, sir.
Just a question on the bottom line increase of 137%, $483,368. Did we get any numbers back that are more accurate for insurances yet, or was that the only one that we just went over?
We are having a meeting tomorrow, with a company called Brown and Brown, that's gonna go through our insurances, the problem from vehicles insurance, we have to bring them in. And they're gonna look at workers' comp and our liability and see what they can do.
Okay, so, I mean, that's still, given what they told us, we were gonna see increases on as best our ability.
Yeah. So, I mean, worst case scenario, let's say we can't get a new deal negotiated for a couple months, then we just spend less money, but it certainly won't be more money because we won't switch.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the payroll adjustment to cover like retirements and stuff like that?
Normally, this year it's also bumped up because remember the first time our presentation is talking about how we needed to deal with union negotiations and adjust some wages and things, so.
It's a combination of the two. Okay.
You still come with a figure.
We should have about 100,000 left in it from this year that we can carry over if need be, so that with this together, I think.
Finance committee, everybody in favor of the insurance budgets? Say aye.
Yeah.
Or raise your hand.
Jump up, spin around and do it.
Let's put in quick. Okay.
All right, select board, any questions?
No
All
question.
right, all in favor? Cool. Page 24. Contractual services. Issues, thoughts? Love notes to Mark? None, all right, go ahead.
Finance Committee, all those in favor of the contractual services budget, raise your hand. And say aye as well if you want.
But I didn't hear you say aye.
I didn't. But I raised my hand.
Select board, any questions?
No questions.
Very good, all in favor? Cool. Congratulations, contractual services, on essential services. Any thoughts? You know the deal.
Finance Committee, all those in favor of the central services budget as presented, raise your hand. Yes, okay, unanimous.
Everyone, select board, please, any thoughts, or if you're ready to go, all in favor? Okay. Police department. Any questions, concerns, thoughts?
Finance Committee, all those in favor of the police department budget as presented, raise your hand. Unanimous.
Select board, same question, all in favor? Very good. Yeah, see, we don't have any part-time stipends to argue about tonight. Alright, next up is, we've gone to the next page. No, yes, no, fire department EMS.
There's a change to this page, just so everyone knows.
No.
No,
Oh, it's the overtime.
the overtime.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I did.
501015, fifth line down, it's increased by 30,000.
It would be 94,616. Line 501015 overtime.
I'm sorry, why was that amount increased?
Expected overtime.
Amount.
Has to change the bottom figure now to the total. Calculate again.
So the bottom figure would also be up by 30,000, so it'd be 2157,431.
Finance Committee, all those in favor of the adjusted budget for EMS fire, raise your hand.
Alright, select board. All in favor? Excellent. Not any TV in here, there, chief?
I don't think so.
Alright, public works. Questions, thoughts, concerns? Okay, yeah.
Finance Committee, all those in favor of the Public Works Department as stated, please raise your hand. Okay.
Select board, same question. All in favor? Very good. So you're stuck with me to the remainder of the meeting.
He has such a good job.
Alright, the solid waste department. The best dressed man in this room. Concerns and questions?
You going somewhere else?
Maybe.
I have 5 questions, just kidding.
Alright, yeah, go ahead.
Finance Committee, all those in favor of the budget as stated for the Solid Waste Department, raise your hand.
Alright, very good. Select board, all in favor? Excellent, passes. Gee, you might get to go to one of board now. Good deal. Parks and Recreation. Thoughts, questions, concerns? Okay.
Skateboard.
Do it else. Somebody gotta throw a wrench in the works here.
Give us. Finance Committee, all those in favor of the Parks and Recreation budget as stated, raise your hand. Okay, we're good.
Brian, your questions, sir?
This might be a Pam question. When we do camps for, sorry, there you are. When we do camps for all of our sporting stuff, we take the fees directly, do we take the fees
We
directly?
take the fees come into our revenue, goes into the general fund, and we expend it out of my budget.
Okay, so that's what I was
Yeah.
curious about. So it doesn't, it's not like they take in $5,000 and we use that to pay for t-shirts or rewards or
We
anything
do.
else?
We bring in the money, it goes into the general fund. Their camps are built into my budget,
Got it.
okay?
Thank you. So,
All right, very good. Select board, all in favor? Excellent.
On board, we're.
No, I'm glad. It's confusing. You have a question?
Let's see, library.
On the one we just passed, go ahead, you can ask a question.
Oh, yeah.
I was just wondering why there's no pickleball in the budget.
That's a good question, Ken.
Turn your mic off, you got TV.
Is it on?
No, you didn't watch
We do
TV.
have 2 pickleball courts up at the high school. They don't activate till the school season is over, and then we set them up and they're there until September. Okay?
That's not changing your vote, is it?
that's not a league that you have though, is it, Cam?
No, it's just open to the public.
Could it be a league?
We have tried to do that, but we haven't gotten a large amount to it. We could probably do something like that. We are doing an introductory to pickleball this spring. Once the tennis season is over.
It's a, John's question is a good question though, because it's
Yep.
the fastest growing sport right now in America. And looking at, I hate saying Brunswick, but looking over there in their pickleball courts, there's just people everywhere all the time. And I imagine some of those people, although I can't quantify how many, are probably Topsham residents as well going over there. I know a lot of Topsham residents, my age group, play pickleball. It might be worth looking into. Maybe.
Any other comments?
Not part of this meeting.
Thoughts on pickleball? All right, moving on to the library. Everyone's favorite department, part of the department. All right, any thoughts, questions, concerns, comments? Ruth?
I have, as I've stated many times, I think we have a wonderful library and wonderful staff. But I think some things each year we don't need to expand, like we give them so much money and they supposedly do what they want, but I just don't feel that taking books to the Highlands and taking a person out of the office and needing all that space to deliver books, I just don't think we need to fund that. So there's things like that, and I guess probably I'll go for this budget, but what I'd like to see from the library another year is just once not to expand people and put more personnel on. I don't see the town adding a lot of personnel. The only way they add personnel is fire department, police department, EMS, and hopefully we can get plenty for public works. But it's something that bothers me, so I had to state it, and I think it bothers quite a few people, but they don't say.
I'll comment on that. I personally feel it's a nice service for the Highlands. There are people there who are not able to take advantage of the buses back and forth. Granted, they have a library, but it's a very small library. And I think it's a very good community service that brings, puts a good, nice light on not only the library, but the town itself, that we're willing to work with people in the Highlands. They do an exceptional job with the schools and everything. And I don't feel that really takes that much away from what time they might have spent within the library. I second that. So that's 2 on my side, 1 on my side. Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is partly about the budget, and this is more long-term budgeting. Granted, I'm new on this board, this is only my second time around. And going through the process this second time, after going through the first time, the one thing that I would like to see defined is what a library is. Because I think part of the disdain that some members in our community have is that it expands beyond the realm of the library. Not being an entity of the town of Topsham makes it hard for us to, I don't want to use the word control the library because that's not what we're trying to do, but to have oversight into fiscal responsibility, which to me is important because fiscal responsibility in a day and age like today is vastly important. But without that oversight, the library can expand into a bunch of things and we're still paying 85% of their budget. And what I would like to see is a definition of what a library is, because to me, a library is not a community center. It is a library, and some of the services that continually get added into the library, I feel sometimes overstep the boundary of a library, and that isn't something that we have a say in. All we have a say in is, do we want to fund it again? And I think certain things need to transpire in order for us to be able to more easily vote this budget through, and also have a little bit more oversight into that budget process. That's my comment.
Can I ask a question? What do you think oversteps the boundary of the library?
I don't know, that's why I would like it defined. I think part of it is a lot of the groups that are formed, in expansion. Some of the different activities that they're hosting or holding, I don't know, because I don't know what a library, to me, a library is a place that you go check out books. And that's, or go look at old media, or go look at different news sources from a long time ago. You can check into your history, you can read books, and maybe check out DVDs. But now everything is electronic books, and the idea of a library is expanding with new technology. So I don't know where the line is, and that's why I think it's important to define where the line is of what a library is, unless it is felt that a library is everything and anything. To which I don't know how far we can be pushed into that without it becoming something more than just a library.
I personally think that the library is doing an excellent job. It is pretty much a community center for the town. The programs that they have in there, their volunteers, their readings, their songs, the whole plethora of services that they offer to the community is far beyond just going in and checking out a book. And I, for one, don't want to sit there and stifle that community involvement. And to me, getting together with the schools, offering all of these programs is a big benefit to the community. And I would hate to see that pulled back in any way.
Well, let me make it clear, I'm not trying to take the budget away, and I'm not
I
trying to
didn't
say.
think you were just, it just sounded like you felt that some of the things that are being offered by the library go well beyond a library, which just lends
That's
books.
not necessarily correct.
Okay.
The idea is I don't know what oversteps where the library is. Because it's an idea-based thing, it's a belief system that people have. And what I'm speaking from is not my personal belief, this is just things that I hear in the community and other things that are addressed whenever I'm out and about. And I wanna make sure that those voices are also heard, because I think it is important that we, as a group, look at every perception of every matter, even those that don't agree with us, just so that we can make better decisions, because Topsham is 9,600 people, and it really needs to reflect as many of those people as we possibly can. So I think that's where my statements come from. I want to make that very clear, that it's not a belief of mine. It's just something that I want to address so that we can all contemplate just that other angle that we may not be because of our own personal belief or buy-in factor to it. Because I love the library. I took my kids there for a long time. At a certain age, we stopped going because it just, if I want a book, I buy a book. That's my personal thing. My kids are too old, they play sports. We just don't really go that often. And it's not that I don't like the library. I do. I know that there's there's value behind it for certain parts of our town. But then other parts of the town feel differently. And we just gotta look at all the ends. I think that's really all there is to it.
I agree with Ryan. I kind of feel every time I get to the library budget that we tower because there's this feeling of not wanting to offend somehow. At least that's the impression I've got. And it is 85% that we pay, but I don't feel like we have much influence. And so it feels a lot like mission creep. I've been here, this is my third year, so there feels like this mission creep that's happening. And I think it is expanding, and I think that's great if indeed that's what the mission is about. But I then would say, are we sure as a town that we want to be stuck with 85% of that? If the goal of the library is to expand beyond what the original intent was, then I think we need to discuss as a town what that means for us in, as far as the budget goes, because I can see that going in a lot of different ways, because it is expanding, technology is expanding. So I agree with you. I think that not everybody finds it a treasure. It's in and out. A lot of people use it continuously, I don't particularly love the idea of people leaving there to start delivering books out into the community, because we're all tightening our budgets, and that's just another way, if they're outside, then who's managing? Do we have to hire new people to manage what's inside the building? So I have a lot of questions about that too, and I think that I'm more concerned just about this mission creep that I see happening out here.
I think the library, it depends on what your definition of literacy is. There are many definitions of literacy that go beyond just staring at pictures of it. There's also a cultural and contextual factor in all of that. And once you lose that concept of literacy and what's important in supporting it, how you expand it to the greater number of people in the community, you have to sometimes go out to the community to bring them in. You have to do that, and I understand that people can't get there because of their work. And I would be all for bringing books to them, making it be easier for them to have them become more literate and their children become more literate. Otherwise, you're gonna see it, I've seen this, I've lived in the South a long time. You're gonna see a downward spiral. Because all of us are getting older, and you gotta have the next generation be as literate as they can be. And the more you put emphasis on declining emphasis to broaden what literacy means, the more problems you're gonna have in the future. Because you're not gonna get doctors to come here. You're not gonna get lawyers to come here. You're not gonna get teachers to come here. What are you gonna do then? You're gonna be like way up north on the border with Canada. That's what you're gonna become. And Brunswick will run circles around you, because they do all that. That's my honest opinion.
What does that mean, though? North of the river?
Hmm?
What do you mean by?
I just mean like, on the border, where there's nothing there. It's empty. That's what I mean.
And you say this is beyond voting on the budget tonight?
Okay,
Yeah. And
so this is a philosophical debate, which I think we can, probably pick up either at a library board meeting, would be my suggestion. What's really frightening is I just Googled, I typed in Topsham into Google, and immediately the first thing that pulled up was Topsham Public Library. So clearly, Google is listening to us right now, which is good stuff. It's there. But they do have a mission and a vision on their website. So for people with concerns, take a look. I hear your comments. I mean, I actually was back this morning with the first meeting. But we're here tonight to talk about this piece of paper. And what they're design. So if there are concerns about these particular line items right here, let's have at it. Otherwise, yeah, go ahead.
Finance Committee, are you in favor of the library budget as presented? All those.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll also add that I have a PhD. All right, select board, all in favor? Very good. All right, public utilities. Eat this too. All right, any concerns, comments? I know Versa just got a rate hike approved. God bless the PUC. That's not us.
It's not us.
All right, they're good. So questions, concerns, thoughts? Yeah, go ahead.
Finance Committee, all those in favor of the public utilities budget as presented, raise your hand.
Select board, all in favor? Very good. All right, and last but not least. Well, yeah, there it is. I'm trying to get some. No, we're doing good with it though. Jeez, still paying 15 seats equipment. All right, so debt service, questions, comments, concerns? Mark, can you summarize what's gonna be remaining here?
I believe, Kathy, correct me if I'm wrong, we're gonna pay off the 2015 bond this upcoming year, fiscal year 26, so there'll be nothing left on that one. And the other bond, the $124,000 one, will get paid off the following year. Is that correct? Yeah?
So the fire truck,
Got it.
16 or 15?
One of them.
It's before both of our time.
Yeah, but that's on there either, no?
You know, you're with an engineer.
All right, questions, concerns, thoughts? Very happy that we're seeing this number go down every year.
Great.
Yeah.
Finance Committee, everybody in favor of the debt service as presented, raise your hand.
Select board, all in favor? Okay, finally. Capital programs. Page 33. You have a nice succinct list here. Thoughts, questions, concerns? Take away, Gail.
Hey, Finance Committee, capital programs, all those in favor of the budget as presented, raise your hand. We're good.
Select board, questions, are you good? All in favor? All right. That concludes this meeting of the reconciliation between the finance committee and the Topsham Select Board. Thank you.
Can I address one housekeeping item?
Absolutely, sir.
So what we're gonna start doing is putting together the actual warrant. And then the first select board meeting in April, they'll presumably order a public hearing on it, the second meeting in April. Then within a day or so, we have to get it to Charlie Crosby for printing after that. So as a housekeeping thing, I can either put in the draft warrant that you've approved things, or I can put approved blank, so there's a place to put not or something. Is everyone okay, at least from the draft? I'm gonna put that you approved it now, and then if something changes after the public hearing, we can always adjust the draft. Good, something else we're gonna have?
Final note, thank all you guys from your departments for coming up and putting up with us. This has been great. You didn't need to be here, but we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the hard
You're
work.
done.